Hey folks, I just got home and I wanted to make a video about how my life has gotten so much better since I burned a single dollar bill. That's a weird intro for a video. But yeah, a little warning for this video. There's gonna be some super posy, kind of fluffy, new agey feel goodness going on, and if that is not what you want to hear or is not going to be useful to you in any way, I suggest that you stop watching now and wait for another video where I'm more like snarky and whatever the opposite of that that's still useful is. I don't want to say negative because that has connotations to it, but yeah, so as some of my friends know, I was working in a kitchen all the last year, and really half of a year because it's a school year in college. That's like really half of a year, but yeah, I was working in this kitchen cooking omelets for bratty college students. I loved my coworkers. It was great. But the environment was not really that great as a queer person, even though my coworkers were all great, and like the school has like you know, GLBT club and like all that stuff. It just is not, it's not the greatest environment to work in if you are a queer person. And I'm sure there's lots of other identities that it's not great to work in either. But it just wasn't good. And so I got laid off from that job in May, and I'm going to be getting rehired in the fall when school starts again. That's how they lay you off and they rehire you. It's how they get away with being an evil corporation that doesn't give you benefits. So yes, but so I had figured out that this was a job that definitely afforded me a lot of comfort that I had never experienced before. I had a lot of money for the first time. It's not even a lot of money, but like compared to most people, but compared to me as having been a self-employed performer for so long, the amount of money I was getting from this job was astounding. I was the richest person. I was like, let's go out to dinner. It's great. And I was able to pay my rent and be a contributing member to the family that me and my husband are putting together, which is just us. We're not like having kids or anything. But it's a family, we're a unit, and I'm responsible for doing that and contributing, and I was able to do that, and it's great. But like waking up at 5 in the morning isn't that great, and being in this toxic environment where I have to deal with like jock, bro-y college students all day is not great, and making 1,000 omelets a day is not great. So I decided over the summer I was gonna try and find some jobs, and I like whittled it down, and I was like, if I can at least find 2 part-time jobs that didn't even make as much money as I was making, but made like enough money to get by and save a little bit. Because I think having access to so much money kind of made me, I was like, oh, cool, like we can go out to eat, and like I can buy music equipment and do all this stuff. So I was like, I could make less money and still be happy. Like, now that I've been to the extreme, it's not even extreme, I wasn't like a CEO of a company making millions of dollars. I was making like an average amount of money or below average amount of money for like a casual worker in America. But to me it was a lot. So I was like, if I can make even a little bit less working jobs that like I actually want to work, then I can do that. So I looked around. I don't have the best resume or the best work experience or references ever, so finding a job is sometimes hard and intimidating for me, because a lot of people see like the 10-year blank where I was like, I'm a musician, And they don't see that as like hard work. They see that as like you didn't have a job for 10 years. What's wrong with you? So I was like pretty down on different stuff. But my husband Cal was really supportive and keeps helping me find jobs and all this stuff. But then, so like I'm into like witchy, spooky stuff. It's a way that I can feel good about myself sometimes when I'm dealing with like mental health issues. Just do a little spooky thing, and sometimes it makes me feel better. It's like I can better understand like why like people go to church, I guess. Like, I mean, going to church isn't like my thing, and like, God isn't like my thing, but like, doing a tarot reading is totally my thing, and that's just as out there. So I was watching this video. There's this woman that I follow on YouTube, Kelly Ann Maddox, who is really great. I've talked to her on Skype and gotten a reading from her, and it was really a wonderful reading. She's great to talk to, and she has a lot of great videos. I'm going to link down below so you can click to get there and maybe experience some cool stuff that she has to offer. But she had a video about casting magic or like witchcraft or doing that kind of stuff to attract money and abundance into your life. And I always thought that was kind of silly. Like, not that it was, I don't know, she talked a lot in her video about people thinking that that was like beneath them. I definitely don't think that any way of like making money is beneath me. I think that anyone who like thinks that doing anything to make money is beneath them is someone who is not broke. And like, I'm broke, so I was like, cool. But I thought about it, and I was like, oh, like, I do it for so many other reasons to feel better, and like, even if the end result isn't like some magical force that brings money and abundance into my life, just like doing the thing. Sometimes you just gotta do the thing, no matter how silly it is, to make yourself feel better. You just do the thing, and then you move on. And so I did the thing. I kind of improvised this really quick. I didn't like research anything online, because there's like a million different ways to do witchcraft online, and like, who cares? But I just like took a dollar bill, and I have this flower on my, like, it's not an altar. It's like a spooky workspace. It's like my table that I keep a couple mirrors and like my tarot cards on, and like some other like pictures that I think are really cool. But it's just like a workspace. And from the garden, if you watched my other videos, you know that me and my husband garden, and we found a flower of foxglove. It's like this. This is a stem, and then there's all these like little bells hanging off of it. And it's pretty nice flower. So I brought it home, because I don't remember if it was just laying on the ground, if it was there and Cal picked it or what, but I took it home and we put it in like a little tiny vase, and I put it on my workspace. Maybe I'll make another video where I show my workspace at some point. And we watered it, and like every day or two, one of the bells falls, and then I use the bell in some kind of working, like a practice. Like, I find some way, improvise some way to use like the flower petal bell in a practice to make it work. So I was like, why not? So I took a dollar bill, and I took one of the foxglove petals, and I rolled the dollar bill up with the petal. So I had this like rolled up spooky joint. This story's not going to end with me smoking a dollar bill, don't worry. And then I just lit it on fire. I lit the dollar bill on fire with a flower inside of it. And I said something, like some poem type thing that I had written that I don't remember now. That's like kind of the point. You cast and forget. And I just did it. I did the thing, and then I moved on. And then some weird stuff happened. Something happened where like basically like a lot of some of my savings went away from working at the kitchen, and I was really bummed about it. It was like this kind of weird experience that happened. I'm fine now, don't worry, everything's great. But that all went away, and then like around the same time, I just got 2 new jobs, and they're both jobs that I was trying to find jobs that would be part-time that I could get paid less, but these are jobs that are better hours, that I would be, I think, working less probably, and that I might even be making more money than I was at the kitchen. So it was kind of like this weird thing where the universe was being like, okay, you can have what you want, but like you gotta be willing to like get rid of the, like, you can be free of the energy from working that job that you don't like, but you don't necessarily get to keep the benefits from it. And if you're willing to give that up, then we can give you this other thing that you will feel safer at, and that will be like you'll have more control over. And that's how I feel. Like, I feel more like, so I'm gonna be working in like a queer like art production studio, where a lot of prosthetics are made for like queer and trans people to feel better about their bodies. So it's basically, I mean, it's also like, it's an adult toy novelty art studio, and I feel really good about that, because like, I mean, I've never been, I am somewhat of a, like, I'm not gonna talk much about like sexual stuff on this channel because I'm a prude, like in public, like what I do with my life is my business, etc., etc. But so I'm not really like hobbyist interested in that kind of stuff, but the idea of like being a part of the studio that makes other people feel really good about the way that they are intimate is like, that's a really powerful feeling to me. Like, when I found that out, I was just like, this is gonna be great. And the people who work there are great. They're queer, they're awesome, they're nice and wonderful. They ask me if I want breaks all the time. And then I just got hired at a hair salon right nearby, and it's like this like witchy, like kind of queer hair salon, like run by a lot of really cool punk ladies, some of whom are in my favorite local band, and the hours are great, and they have like puppies in there sometimes. I don't know, it's just like, I don't necessarily know if burning a rolled up dollar bill with a flower inside of it really caused like magic or spirits to come and change my life. But I do know that my life changed around that time, and now I have jobs, and I have access to jobs that I am really going to enjoy. And in like the meantime between those things, the act of doing the witchcraft put aside a lot of insecurities that I had about whether I was going to be able to get the job. And possibly that made me more confident at my interviews, or like, I don't know, just psychology stuff. It's more positive. But it worked great, and now I have these jobs, and it's amazing. So I guess if you ever have been interested in doing, like, you just do the thing. Like, whatever the thing is that you need to do that will make you more confident, just do it. Like, even if you think it's really silly, like taking $1 and lighting it on fire. Because that's what I did, and now I'm gonna have access to a lot more dollars and be able to do things that I love doing in order to get those dollars. So it's really great. Also, for the, I don't know, 20 of you who maybe have interest in watching these videos, I'm hoping that this kind of stuff is going to be more of what I'm talking about, because I don't really want to talk about bands anymore. Like, I don't want my whole brain to be taken up by that. and I feel like by changing what I physically talk about, it can change like my brain so that I'm not just like stuck in this like local band thing. Instead, I can be stuck in whatever else I want, or not stuck, or whatever, or talking about stuff. But also, I just want to say, I went to the interview and I was dressed very nice. I dressed great. I'm gonna. This is what I wore. It was wonderful. It's a little cute turtleneck. I have an earring. It's cute. It's not an earring. It's a clip-on. But I got badass boots. I'm pretty great, and you are too. Subscribe to the channel or my newsletter if you want. Bye bye.